Y'all, I'm hesitant to tell this story because I don't know who might see it. And there's some possibly guilty people who may find out that I posted this video. But this hot goss is too hot not to share. Look, so my son, my 27-year-old son, grown, right? Good and grown, has these little friends. They're all 27 and 28-year-olds, but to me, they still his little friends, right? Because I knew them when they was in like second grade. He has this one little friend who is an adorable boy. Okay, he's an adorable man. He recently got married and finally settled down. Now, I know we're going to call him James, right? James, when he was younger, and by younger, I mean like 22 to 25 or 26. Until like 2 minutes ago when he got married. James was wild, right? He's a good looking kid, nice muscles. He's a very attractive young man. He's a military vet at this point. And he was out here, he always was coming to me with girlfriend questions. He was just like, Miss Kathy, see, let me explain to you what happened. And it was always some wild, crazy escapade of he was messing with this girl and the girl's boyfriend came home and he had to run down the fire escape. But he pulled on his clothes in the dark, and turns out he pulled on some of the boyfriend's clothes, and should he return that boyfriend's sweatshirt or should he just keep it? These are the kind of questions he was always coming to me with. And I was like, James, you need to get your life together. But it was always hilarious to me because it was like mildly, harmless, mostly harmless, 20-year-old fun. I was like, somebody gonna pop a cap in your behind and then that's gonna be the end of you. He's like, nah. But he's an adrenaline junkie. So I'm like, okay, he'll outgrow it. He gonna let it pass. And I knew he had dated some questionable women. And at one point he told me that he was a stud. Well, I thought that meant that he was like, yeah, I'm like the big sexy man, whatever. Then later he came and explained to me, no. He was going on some website where you get like a fetish and kink website where you can meet couples and you could come in and be the stud in this relationship. And I was like a horse? Like, I don't understand. He further explained to me that he would be with men's wives while the men watched, and that's referred to as being a stud. I was like, okay. He was also a sugar baby for a while. He was driving a real fancy car. And I was like, where'd you get this car from? He works, but I was like, you're not working like that. He's like, oh, this nice older lady that I've been seeing, she leased this car for me. So he was driving like a fancy sports car, very expensive, for like 2 years. And then he was back to his regular, Honda Acura, whatever it was he was driving. And I was like, James, where you get that from? He was like, James, don't tell me nothing else, right? Recently, I had not seen him in a while. And so I was like, okay, maybe he calmed down, no more misadventures. He would ask for advice, I think, honestly, because he just wanted to tell me all like the crazy things he was doing. He recently got married. He and his wife bought a house and they moved out to like the deep suburbs. I was like, oh, good for him. Maybe he's going to settle down. He comes over the other day and he's like, I don't know what to do. I was like, oh, Lord, James, is everything going okay with the marriage? Yeah. Everything is going okay with the marriage. Me and my wife started going to church. Okay, that's great. It's wonderful. Good for you. And I was like, you're trying to get your life together. He has a good job. He's doing all the things. He said, here's the problem. I'm sitting there in church and I look up and I recognize somebody. Well, he don't recognize them from church because he not church people. You know what I mean? Heathen knows heathen. And James, he a heathen from the bottom of his heart. But he's going to this church to make his wife happy. He's sitting up there and up on the they have like the deacon board. They got all the deacons sitting there on like, the dais or whatever they call it at the church, the pew. I don't know what they call it up at the front. He recognizes this man that he knows from when he was a stud. Well, James, what you mean you know this man? He was like, this dude was on the website and he would go over and be with this man's wife and other people. They was having just like whole get-togethers. Oh my God. But now he recognized this man from the deacon board. I said, well, you have a misspent youth. Maybe this man has a misspent youth as well. He was like, Miss Kathy, I got to tell you something. Now, I got married 6 months ago, and I've been being real good since I got married. And, but I still sometimes look at this website just to see, just like, to reminisce or whatever. I was like, James, that girl you married, she's real cute. You better not cheat on her. He was like, no. But, I was looking like 2-3 days ago, and I seen the deacon still on the website soliciting for studs to come in and be with his wife. He said, what should I do? I was like, oh my God. Did you say anything to the deacon? He said, well, I'm ducking and diving and looking all around or whatever. And it's like, it was visitor Sunday. So if we got any visitors in the audience, please stand up. So, the new little wife, totally clueless, stands up and she's like, hey, we the Jones family, me and my husband, we just moved into the neighborhood, bye, bye, bye. Everyone, praise the Lord, whatever. Everybody's like celebrating them and clapping them. So afterwards, everybody comes and shakes hands. The wife comes and shakes James's hand, and she like rubbing his hand and giving it an extra hold and a squeeze and stuff, saluted him with a holy kiss. I was like, she saluted you with, look, in my day, a holy kiss was like a little kiss. It was a church kiss. You kept your butt tooched out real far. That's it. You give the person a kiss on the cheek. He was like, she was rubbing my hand, squeezing in the palm of my hand. And she slipped him a little tongue while she was saluting him with a holy kiss. Sir, that is not a holy kiss. That's beyond a holy kiss. And he said, I thought, well, she clearly very sinful. But he's just like, I've known her biblically. But he was like, okay, maybe the husband is not with it. So I could be like, okay. So the husband comes along. The deacon comes along to greet the new visitors, after the service and everything. And he says, leans over, good to see you. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Welcome to the church. And so James's new little wife is like, thank you so much. And he says, we should have y'all over sometime. So now James is freaked out. He's like, the deacon probably thinks me and my wife are swingers, but we not. Okay. I had so many questions. He was like, now my wife loves this church and she want to put her membership there. And his question to me was, should we join church? Boy, no, you should not join church. No, you could join church. Don't join that church. He was like, yeah, my wife want to get baptized into that church. And I was like, so these people can see your wife all in like white with no underwear on? No. That's sacrilege. All y'all gonna burn in hell. Not the wife, because she seems real innocent. Not the deacon's wife. James's new cute little wife. Also, James, has she been tested for everything? Because I don't know what you've been doing. You be out here dropping it low and spreading it. Why? Boy, you're going to hell with gasoline draws on. He's like, he said his fear is that if he goes to other churches, he's going to run into other couples that he has known, biblically. And he's going to come to me to ask me what advice I would give. First of all, you need to dip your man bits in like bleach or something that's extra cleaning. Also, go get a complete physical and a checkup and just find a different church. He was like, yeah, but she really likes this one. Maybe she'll keep going and I'll skip it. But he's scared to skip services because what if the deacon's wife comes and says something sideways to her and she finds out? Y'all, James been dating this girl since high school. He was out here wilding out for years and years and years and years. She ain't know about it. Allegedly. Everybody knew about it. Everybody knew about it. But she ain't know about it. Now he finds himself in this conundrum. He's like, why did this happen to me? Sir, this happened to you because you just passing out your peen to everybody in town. That is what you're not supposed to do. Listen, if you're going to keep going, you're going to act like you don't know them people. That's what you're going to do. I think that's the best advice I could give him. First of all, he need to move. He need to move to a state where he don't know nobody. Because I think he slept with everybody in our state. Maybe if he moves to like Pennsylvania is driving distance. He might have to move to like Ohio or someplace, y'all. James in trouble. But I do love hearing about his adventures. That boy is messy. I could not love it more. So look, what's your advice for James? Should they keep going to this church? Just act like they don't know nothing? Act like nothing? Listen, also, the deacon's a little bit old. He suspected that the deacon was suffering from like a little ED. That's why he wanted somebody else to be with his wife, because he couldn't, Maybe the deacon would just die of a heart attack and then you don't have to deal with it no more. I mean, hopefully. I don't know what to hope for in this situation. It's sticky. Much like James. But listen, y'all know how we do. You ain't heard none of this from me.